door.
He does, and the clicky little theatrical department said, "We know you don't go here," and the teacher.
But you're so damn good.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kove, but you have to be in attendance. And the teacher, the dramatic teacher, would say, you have to be in attendance here to participate in the theatrical projects.
Damn it, he's better than the one we have here.
But I think that's what you have to do. You have to take risks. I was listening to an incredible interview by Leonardo DiCaprio recently, and he said that when he booked his first film with Robert De Niro, he was one of 5 boys to play opposite Robert De Niro, and he said to himself, "There's something I have to do to kind of separate me from the rest of the boys auditioning," and so he took a risk. And there was this part that in the lines, he finished his lines with Robert De Niro, and then he responded and screamed "No!" when that wasn't in the script, and then everyone started laughing, and he thought he ruined. He thought he just ruined his opportunity, when in fact, after that audition, Robert De Niro went up to Martin Scorsese and said, "You got to hire him." So it's like you have to take those risks, and I just find it so, because I have a young boy, I have a 4-year-old, Jackson, and it's like, how do you teach that to someone? How do you teach courage to someone? I think that's what John Kreese teaches, whether it's in a vicious way or not. He's teaching you to step up into your courage. I do think that, when we say this thing, don't judge someone unless you've walked in their shoes. I do think we are all capable of doing anything. I think we all have different parts of ourselves that live deep in our psyche. It's just learning how to access those parts. So even if you're insecure or you're not confident, it doesn't mean you don't have courage. Or if you're not very disciplined, it doesn't mean you don't have discipline. It just means that you haven't had access to it. You haven't built the ability to tap into that yet. Mm-hmm. So it's like teaching people how to tap into that courage and then use it to go after something that maybe no one else in your world is doing. Like you. I mean, you didn't have that modeled in your life, but you saw these characters in these movies and you wanted to go for it.
I think it's similar to what Leonardo DiCaprio did, is not to be too boxed in, even like being raised, not to be even how you were raised. You weren't so boxed in. You were able to step outside the lines, and just like watching Jackson grow up, you kind of let him go and explore things. And if he falls down, gets up and reaches for like whatever's beyond that thing that he wants, and then I think that kind of helps with exploring outer boundaries and lets you take risks. I know certainly I've taken risks for sure. Obviously being an actor is taking a huge risk, and I've, taken after you, Dad. But I don't have any regrets. I've struggled and cried and failed so many times over and over and over again. But you learn from those failures, and I've got scars, and I think that's a huge important piece. What you're talking about, Rach, is not being fearless that way, being courageous, and I think all that ties into your upbringing and John Kreese and other characters you played, Dad.
Yeah, and I often say this to a lot of people I work with. I don't think people say to me, because I'm very confident, I'm very outgoing, I'm very extroverted, and I could make a lot of funny videos and it looks like I don't have any insecurities, and it's not true. I have fear all the time. It's not that I'm fearless, but what I do is I walk forward, and I have fear in one hand and I have faith and courage in the other. And I just work with them both. I say, I'm really afraid to do this podcast, and I have faith that it's going to be brilliant and it's going to work out. So it's like I have, like you, as a college student, you're probably not thinking like in that moment, oh my God, I'm going to fail at this. But there's a part of you that's scared of that, right? But sure. You do it anyway.
You do it. It happens today, having moved to Tennessee and getting in the car and driving. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know. I use the navigation now. Never used it in Los Angeles. And I use it now all the time because I have, my sense of direction is not that great. And everything is new. And there is definitely an anxiety that I feel getting in the car, having to go to the cleaners, go to simple markets. I don't know where anything is. So there's that fear, I can't stand getting lost. Oh, it's that simple. I can't stand getting lost. It's a waste of time. I've always hated getting lost. And I just plunge into it because no one else is going to drive me. It's not like on the set I have a driver. No one's going to drive me around,
Unless Jesse's here in town.
But they'll give you an idea of how often I say, Jesse drives or you drive when you visit. And, because there's an anxiety, and I'm a grown adult, and you would think that those anxieties would, you know, be passed years ago, but not, because everything is new.
Yeah.
And just like you said, if you don't use that prowess to navigate yourself physically, you won't.
Well, I think people tend to get stuck in this word anxiety. Anxiety is just a physical manifestation of fear, and your body is designed to keep you alive. So anything that's unknown is going to be terrifying for the nervous system. So again, it's learning to understand, okay, this is just a part of me that's afraid. It doesn't mean I can't leave the house just because I'm afraid of getting lost, right? And it's also saying like people are going to listen to Marty Kove say, I have fear of getting lost. Okay, I'm not alone.
Getting lost can be really cool.
It can.
You don't
It's
know
like
what
an
you're going to
opportunity
discover,
for
who you're going to
adventure.
meet.
I love getting lost, honestly.
It's
You don't, because you don't like navigate. You have a difficult time with
But
the
he
but
likes
I've
getting
thought
lost in
about
the
that.
wilderness.
But I don't mind getting lost in places I don't know about. Like
Right.
if I'm on vacation, you're somewhere in the middle of Monument Valley or Utah or whatever.
Swedish
Getting
forests.
lost, yeah, right. Swedish forests, any place, you know. I mean, then it's brand new, and then it's probably not. It's not as irritating, but you know, you have to have a certain sense of, I think, adventure to enjoy getting lost wherever you get lost. You
Yeah.
know, all the time. But you know, all the luck to those who have that. I think it's good quality.
And tying back into, charging forward and doing something that you don't know about when you were, younger, going into the film and cinema world, was it in college that you kind of made that leap and I'm going to do this professionally, or I can make a career out of this, or, because, you've amounted a huge amount of success in your life coming from where, you came from basically nothing. And it's, where you're at now is obviously very different. So where was that bridge that you crossed? So, I think I'm going to do this professionally. I'm going to make a career of this, or I'm going to be a movie star, whatever, when was that?
Because the devil is crossing me.